If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. Sorry if it's a bit late again today guys. I've just finished watching the Chelsea City match at the time that I'm recording this, and to be honest with you guys, as a Chelsea fan, I'm actually pretty happy with the result. I'm even more happy with the performances of the players. You know, I was expecting us to get absolutely battered when I saw we were playing Man City. So, you know, the fact that we were even winning at one point's good. I wish we could have held on. You know, I'd probably blame Pochettino for the subs he made. You know, a bit too defensive too early on. But, you know, a point's a point, and I'm happy with it. But, yeah, waffling aside, guys. Yeah, today we have some 4-4-2 custom tactics and player instructions to help you out in FC24 if you are struggling. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get right into it, guys. Alrighty then guys, so starting off with the custom tactics for the defensive style, I prefer to have this on balance. Now I like balance because it gives me the best control over my defense. So if I want to be aggressive and like press high up the pitch, I can do that. And then if I want to be a little bit more passive and maybe run players back and drop off, I can also do that. So balance does give me the best control, which is something I do like. That being said, if you guys are more comfortable with using a pressure tactic because you think you play better with that, that is absolutely fine. Don't just use something because I specifically tell you to. Moving on to the defensive width, guys, I have this on 40 at the moment with the 4-4-2. Now, with other formations, I'll sometimes have this width at like 45. But with the 4-4-2, because we already have a really good amount of defensive players in a really good shape, so we have like two players in the centre of each like line of four, so the two centre mids and the two centre backs, and then we've also got like the full backs and then the right mid and the left mid making good width as well. We can afford to make it a bit more compact in the defence, you know, because we have a bit more natural width than we would in other formations. Sorry, could have worded that a little bit better, but you know, you can afford to lower that down a little bit because you've still got some decent width. But yeah, I like this because it blocks out all those attacks through the middle and you still have good coverage of the wider areas. For the depth, guys, you have a few different options. A lot of people like to use 71 depth. It is still very good, but one thing I will say is you pretty much need full meta defenders at this point. I'm not just talking gold Van Dijk or Maldini. We're talking like team of the year Van Dijk. You know, you need the absolute best of the best because of the way these attackers are now in FC24. You know, they're extremely overpowered and quick, so you do need the defenders to match that. So if you don't have that, if you're someone like me that doesn't have the best of the best defenders, just pop it on like something like 60. You won't get the automatic press, but you'll still be able to defend pretty well in my opinion. Moving on to the build-up play, guys, I popped this on balance because I find it to be the most controlled and the most varied form of build-up. So if you want to build up slowly, for example, you can do that. And then if you maybe want to speed things up and play a bit faster, you can also do that. So you can basically like switch up the styles whenever you like, which is why I do suggest it. If you want to use something else because that suits you better, don't feel like you can't use that. You know, you can use it. This is just my recommendations. For the chance creation, guys, one thing that isn't a suggestion, it's an absolute must, is direct passing on the new gen version of the game, because direct passing is the only chance creation setting which will allow you to score consistently in the meta of this game. So because everybody likes to sit back and park the bus, direct passing is very important because it means your attackers will bunch up against the opposition defenders, making it more like a basketball game a lot of the time, you know, like 1v1 isolation plays. Your attackers also commit these runs, and then the defender will follow the attacker making the run, and then the attacker will do like this track back animation where the defender's overcommitted and then there's space for you to cut back to them. So yeah, very boring tactic, I will say this, but very overpowered nonetheless. For the width, guys, not really a specific number you need to use, but I just have this on 58 at the moment. I don't like anything too wide, even though the 4-4-2 is a wider formation, because it feels like my players are way too spread out from each other if I use something like 70. So I prefer something a bit lower where we still have that width, but we also feel like our team is still closer together, you know, so we can still link up the play. But yeah, that's just my preference. For the players in the box, we have this on 5. This is bang in the middle, so we can get a few players into the box, but we don't overcommit everybody, of course. And then for the corners and the free kicks, guys, this is a preference thing, but I just leave them both on 1. Now, moving on to the player instructions, guys. On both the strikers at the moment, I have them on stay central and get in behind. Now, we have them on stay central because we don't really need them drifting out into the wider areas, since we already have like a left mid and right mid in those positions primarily. So we do want them to be in the middle so that they can always be relied upon and and do their job. You might often find if you have your strikers on balance width or drift wide, you have nobody in the middle and nobody to consistently help you out in front of goals, so stay central is the way to go. I also have them both on getting behind, so we can always utilize their pace in behind those defensive lines which people use. You know, a lot of people do use 71 depth, so their defensive line is higher, so you can get in behind very easily. If you find getting behind a little bit too one-dimensional or a little bit too difficult to use against a good opponent because it's predictable, you can switch one of the strikers or both of them to mixed attack, and that is absolutely fine, but it's completely up to you, to be honest with you guys. Moving on to the wide midfielders, guys, the left mid and the right mid, we pop them on come back on defense, cut inside, get in behind, and get into the box for cross. Now we pop them on come back on defense so that they always make sure they're in the correct position when we don't have the ball. If you have these players on basic defensive support, especially if they don't have the best defensive work rate, sometimes these players can get a little bit lost. They might not fill in the position and they'll leave lots of gaps in for your opponent to exploit. So come back on defense kind of negates that and makes sure your team is nice and compact, essentially. We also have them on cut inside, so they will start their runs out in the wider positions and then make those runs like more diagonally into the middle to get closer to goal and things like that. It's a very good attacking AI movement, which I do highly recommend, guys. We obviously also have them on getting behind to utilize their pace to get in behind and down the wings, because we don't want them to be, you know, extremely static, otherwise we're not going to get anywhere. And yeah, we also have them on getting to the box across, so they're not hesitant in getting into the penalty area and helping us out in the box as well. So that is the same for both the left mid and the right mid, guys. Moving on to the right centre mid, I'm using my more defensive minded player here at the moment. Doesn't matter which way round you have them. You can have the more defensive one at left centre mid or right centre mid. At the moment I've got Petit at right centre mid. You know, I might switch it around, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, on this player we just pop them on stay back while attacking and cover centre, because they are more defensive of course, so we don't want them flying forward. And then cover centre so that they primarily will cover the middle areas, as we already have the wide midfielders, the right mid and the left mid, to cover those wings. Now for the left centre mid, guys, we have a more box to box style player here, somebody that will attack and defend and have a bit of a free roll for us. So we kind of just let them cook, leave them alone, let them do whatever they want on the default settings so that they're not restricted. And then the only important thing is popping them on that cover center instruction so that they will cover the central areas as opposed to the wings, you know, because we've explained this before already. Now moving on to the fullbacks, guys, this is what I'm doing a little bit differently at the moment. So what I would usually do is have my more attacking minded fullback on balanced overlap. Now you can still do this, it's absolutely fine to do this, especially if you're not like very good with the D-pad tactics and stuff. You can do this, so yeah, that's a viable option. But I leave them both on stay back while attacking and overlap at the moment. So, you know, by default, we've always got our back four intact and we're not going to get counter-attacked all the time. But when I want to attack with my fullbacks, I'll either send them forward with L1 or I'll use the D-pad tactics temporarily to activate the attacking fullbacks, and then they'll both go flying forward on the attack. And then I can quickly just deactivate it when I want them to stay back. So yeah, that's the way I do it at the moment. You guys don't have to do that if you want, but yeah, that's how I do it. For the two centre backs though, I leave them on stay back of course, and then the keeper, default settings, but you can pop them on comes crosses and sweeper keeper if you would like. And yeah guys, they are my tactics and instructions. I hope you guys have enjoyed or found this useful. If you have, please be sure to drop this a like, sub to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out guys.